Did you know that Gojo Satoru suffers 24/7 and nobody realizes it? Wait until the end because what I'm going to reveal is going to absolutely blow your mind. But first, let me ask you something you've probably never questioned before. Why does the strongest man in the world wear a blindfold all the time? Why does someone so powerful act like an idiot constantly? Why can Gojo never touch anyone, literally? And most importantly, why was the only moment where Gojo was truly happy when he almost died? The answer to these questions is going to completely change your perspective on this character. And trust me, by the end of this video, you'll understand why being Gojo Satoru is actually a living nightmare that would break any normal person within days. Everyone wants to be Gojo Satoru, right? Unlimited power, absolute respect, the strongest sorcerer of all time. He's got it all. But here's the truth nobody tells you. Gojo lives in a personal hell that would make any of us lose our sanity in a matter of days. And no, I'm not exaggerating even a little bit. Stay until the end because I'm going to reveal something about his six eyes that even the most hardcore fans don't fully understand. Something that makes his entire existence a cosmic joke played on him by fate itself. Let's start with something basic that everyone ignores. Gojo has infinity active constantly. Sounds incredible, right? You're untouchable, invincible, nobody can hurt you. But think about it for a second. Nobody can touch you. I'm not just talking about enemies, I'm talking about absolutely nobody. When Gojo shakes someone's hand, there's literally an infinite space between his hand and the other person. When someone tries to hug him, they never actually succeed. When a student needs physical comfort, Gojo can't give it to them. Imagine living your entire life without feeling real human contact. Every handshake is an illusion, every pat on the back never reaches its destination. He's technically surrounded by people, but physically more alone than any person on the planet. And here's the kicker that nobody thinks about. He chose this. He activated infinity permanently, knowing full well what it would cost him. That's not confidence, that's resignation to a life of complete physical isolation. And here comes something that's going to surprise you. Gojo's six eyes aren't a gift, they're a curse in disguise. Listen carefully because this is crucial. The six eyes process information constantly, all the time, without stopping. Gojo sees the flow of cursed energy in all things. He sees techniques before they happen. He sees every microscopic detail of the world around him. He processes more information in 1 second than you or I process in an entire year. And you know what that means. It means his brain never rests, never. Even when he sleeps, his six eyes keep processing information. It's like having 1,000 computer screens in your head all the time and not being able to turn them off. That's why he wears the blindfold. It's not for style, it's not to look cool. It's because he literally needs to block out some of that information or he'd go insane. The blindfold isn't a fashion statement, it's a survival mechanism. Without it, Gojo would be drowning in sensory information every single second of every single day. But wait, because it gets worse, much worse. And here comes the first major hook I promised you. Gojo can see people's souls, not metaphorically, literally. He sees the cursed energy that reflects the true nature of every person, which means Gojo can see when someone lies, when someone hates him, when someone is afraid of him, when someone is using him. Imagine not being able to have a genuine conversation ever because you always know exactly what the other person is thinking and feeling. Every fake smile, every empty compliment, every look of fear disguised as respect. Gojo sees all of it. He can't turn it off, he can't ignore it. He lives in a world where human hypocrisy is constantly on display in front of his eyes. Every single interaction is tainted by this knowledge. He can never have the comfort of not knowing what people really think about him. And trust me, when you can see into people's souls, what you find is rarely pleasant. Now let's talk about something that most people completely misinterpret. Gojo's clownish personality. Everyone thinks he's like that because he's arrogant. Wrong. It's a desperate defense mechanism. Let me explain. Gojo is so powerful that he's psychologically separated himself from normal humanity. He knows it. Everyone knows it. He exists on a completely different level. So what does he do? He acts like an idiot constantly, makes jokes, is annoying, behaves like a teenager. Why? Because it's the only way he has to feel connected to normal people. It's his way of saying, I'm one of you, even knowing that he can never truly be. It's deeply sad when you think about it. The strongest man in the world has to pretend to be a clown just to maintain some kind of human connection. Every joke is a cry for normalcy. Every stupid thing he does is an attempt to bridge an unbridgeable gap between himself and the rest of humanity. And speaking of human connections, here comes something devastating that I need you to really understand. Gojo cannot have real relationships with anyone. And I don't just mean romantic ones, although that's also true. I mean any kind of genuine relationship. Think about it. All the people in Gojo's life see him first as a tool, a weapon, the strongest sorcerer. Nobody sees him as Satoru. The elders need him to maintain the balance of power. Students admire him but also fear him. Other sorcerers respect him but are jealous and resentful. Even his closest friends have that invisible barrier of power between them. The only person who ever saw him as an equal was Gojo Satoru. And we all know how that story ended. That relationship, that one genuine connection, ended with Gojo having to kill his best friend with his own hands. How do you recover from that? How do you open yourself up to anyone ever again after that? This brings me to one of the most important points in this video. Hold on to this information because I'm going to connect it to something massive in a few minutes. The battle against Toji Fushiguro was the happiest moment of Gojo's life. Let me repeat that. The moment where he almost died was his happiest moment. Why? Because for the first time in his life, Gojo felt real danger. He felt adrenaline. He felt truly alive. He wasn't a god watching from above. He was a human fighting for his life. And when he unlocked his true power after that near-death experience, what did he do? He felt euphoria, not because he became stronger, but because he finally understood how separated he was from the rest of humanity. It was a moment of horrible clarity. He realized that he would never again feel that kind of emotion, that kind of fear, that kind of humanity. That battle was both his awakening and his funeral. The funeral of whatever remained of his normal human experience. Now comes the bomb. Remember I said I was going to blow your mind? Here it is. Gojo knows that he will eventually lose. Not in terms of power, but in terms of purpose. He's too intelligent not to see it. The jujitsu system is broken, the elders are corrupt, the students depend too much on him. And Gojo has realized that his existence, while protecting in the short term, is weakening the entire sorceress society in the long term. Everyone trusts that Gojo will save them. Nobody tries as hard as they should because they think that if things get really bad, Gojo will be there. He's a crutch for everyone, and Gojo knows it. He knows that his very existence is creating a generation of weak sorcerers who will never learn to fight their own battles. He's simultaneously the shield protecting Jujutsu society and the shadow preventing it from growing stronger. That's why he trains students with so much care. That's why he's so protective of Yuji, Megumi, and the others. Because Gojo is desperately trying to create a generation that doesn't need him. He wants to be replaced. He wants there to be sorcerers strong enough that his existence isn't necessary. But here's the cruel irony, and this is something that keeps him up at night. The stronger Gojo is, the harder it is for anyone else to reach that level. His shadow is too large. His power is too absolute. He's trying to get out of the way, but his own existence blocks the sun for everyone else. It's like trying to teach someone to swim while you're standing in the water holding them up. You want them to learn, but your presence prevents them from ever truly being independent. Let's talk now about the real cost of the 6 eyes, and this is going to get dark. This is something the manga mentions subtly, but most people overlook. 6 eyes users historically have short and miserable lives. It's not a coincidence. The constant processing of information, the mental load, the psychological isolation, all of it takes a massive toll. Gojo is literally burning out his brain all the time. Every moment he's using his technique, every second he's processing insane amounts of information. His body might be invincible, but his mind is being slowly destroyed by the weight of his own power. It's like having a computer running at maximum performance 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Eventually, something has to break. And when it does, it won't be pretty.
Remember to follow me and comment if you like the video.